So if you want to flip to the blast page of your packet, it's the top 7 things you need to know. So, do you have yours? Okay, perfect. All right, so number 1 is that we use KidCheck as our check-in in and out program, and then you can use the device in your room to see the real-time roster and kids being checked in and out. I know Midtown has done this for a while. West, we are just rolling this out, hopefully this week. Last week, the iPods were dead. This week, they're charged. So we're gonna roll it out, and then I'll demonstrate tomorrow during huddle of how to do that. It's pretty simple, but that will be helpful too. And then I think you can scan it, right, Whitney? Yes, you scan either the sticker that you don't have to take from the parent anymore, the parent's gonna keep it, or you can scan the barcode that they get on their phone. Or you can hit a checkout button.
So number 2, professionalism in City Light Kids looks like being on time, wearing appropriate clothing, using only your phone in emergencies, and then showing appropriate affection towards kids. For clothing, we have some t-shirts. I know we ordered some more. I don't know if we've gotten some more in. So we were limited on sizes for a while. So if you don't have a City Light Kids shirt yet, we can definitely get you one. So you're always welcome to wear. You don't have to wear that on Sunday morning, but sometimes it's nice to just have a comfortable t-shirt, especially if you're with littles and things get a little messy sometimes. So it's nice to have a t-shirt and not your maybe nice church clothes on. So yes, and phones, like obviously if there's an emergency, but otherwise just keeping it set aside so it's not a distraction while you're in the classroom with kids.
Okay, so if you are unable to serve your committed Sunday, please find a substitute so we can keep our class open. So like the best way for that is just to look at the next week. And so you see, oh, Jimmy is serving next week. Can I switch with him? The only issue we get in, Matt, as an example, serves every week, which is awesome, but Matt doesn't have someone to switch with because it says Matt, for the rest of the year. And so with that being said, reach out to us. There's always we have a sub list, and then we also have another sub list too that we have that's good emergency people that we're we know they can serve last minute. But yes, if you get a sub, that's the best way to keep your classroom open, or sometimes we do have to shut classrooms, which isn't always the best.
And that sub list is on that Google Sheet document that you get with a schedule. There's a little tab at the bottom that says contact list, and so we just kind of listed everybody there and phone numbers. So you can always go to that spot and find someone's phone number and try to check with a few people first and before, if you're having really, like Emily said, if you're having trouble, let us know. So number 4, teacher and kid room ratios are specific for each classroom, and so it kind of varies by the age group, and they're posted on the bulletin board or on the cabinets. Like at West, it's up on our cabinets, and we just updated those 2. There must always be 2 background checked adults with kids at all times. So that's why it's really important, if you can't make it one morning, that you're finding a sub or letting us know. But we can't open that classroom unless there's 2 background checked adults in there. And then also some of you serve with spouses. So we do, if it's only the 2 of you who are married, in a room, we have to have you in separate rooms because we can't have just the 2 adults in there with kids, or if there's a 3rd adult, then that's fine if a married couple's in there. But sometimes if you serve with your spouse, you'll notice, if we had to split you up on the schedule, that's just why. So yes, we always have to have those 2 background checked adults in there. If you need something, use the walkies to get a hold of us at the check-in station for the bathroom breaks, so that you're never leaving one person in the room by themselves with the kids. A lot of times we have student helpers, high school student helpers, which is great. That helps with just our kid ratios, but they don't count as a background checked adult. So just some good things to keep in mind for just the overall safety.
Alrighty. Okay, Steph just touched briefly on walkies, but we'll go back to that too. So 2 check-in workers will come and take the kids to the bathroom. You guys don't take the kids, you walkie to us. And the ones, I think any walkie-talkie, you just make sure you're pressing on the side button the whole time you're talking. And if you guys have to go to the bathroom, or if you want a cup of coffee or anything like that, radio to us. We would love to get you a cup of coffee, or you can go out and get one. We just need to step into your classroom. And then I'll just go to the next one too. Kids may be released to authorized guardians who have their pickup receipt with a 3-digit number that matches the child's number. If they don't have the receipt, send them back in for a new guardian receipt at the check-in table. That's super important because you just want to make sure they're going with the correct person too. I know a lot of grandparents like to come back and pick up kids, and we try to stop at like the doors at least to see like, oh, I've never really seen you before, like who are you like picking up, and to see if they have the ticket / to see if they're authorized. And we just always remind parents like they can add more people authorized onto their account. They just have to do that online. And so if they want grandma to pick them up, we just have to remind them to put them on the account.
And then the last thing, so really important, that every person in Nebraska is considered a mandatory reporter for suspected abuse. So if you suspect any abuse is happening or you're not sure, what to do, obviously talk to us, let us know, and we can help, support in that way and figure out, when we need to report something.
Any questions?
They
don't always match.
I thought most of the time.
So, yes, the short answer is yes. Sometimes we have multiple people checking in, and so someone might be checking in the first grade room, and someone else is pre-registering and checking in the kindergarten room. So those two people could be checking in a child from the same family at the same time, and if that's the case, that's when we end up with different numbers. So it is complicated, it is a little bit annoying, but that is just, it's because we were super rushed on a Sunday morning, if that makes sense. So when we have more time, we do make sure that all of the kids have the same number. So. Is that fair?
Yes. And when Kid Check is working properly, that always helps. Sure. Yeah, and I think on that contact list for where people can look for subs, I think we might have listed both, but it should have email and phone number. But we figure most people, especially if it's Saturday night, you're probably going to be sending a text to call for or text about a sub. So yeah, and then
just one note on that: an ask to everybody is an ask to no one. So don't send out an email to the entire serving team list. People will likely not respond to you, and you will likely not have your phone, text someone.
We had a situation often has happened, I guess, where the parent said he was in process of getting for city light kids. Is it 5 minutes okay, but 20 minutes?
Sorry. This does happen. I mean, parents, it may be their first time really ever putting their kid into kids ministry or childcare or anything. So especially if it's the first time, we do want to be really gracious with families. So if this is the first time they've ever checked their kid in and they end up staying the whole time because they don't feel like their child could handle them leaving, that's okay. But what we want to do is just say, hey, like, it's our policy that no adults are in here who aren't background checked and haven't been through our training, just to make sure kids are safe. And so you are welcome to stay again, but you would need to fill out our application to serve. And you can just put a note on there that you're just a parent filling this out so that you can be background checked and approved to be in the classroom. Does that make sense? So we would just ask if parents feel like that's something that may happen frequently, that they go ahead, and that way we can print out a name tag for them so other parents know, yes, this is someone who is approved to be in this room. We just want to do everything we can to cover our bases to make sure every parent feels safe.
So to clarify, what you're saying is first time okay, but during the first time you can't do this again unless you fill out this paperwork, which takes.
Yes.
So next week you don't plan on being here is what we're almost saying.
Well, the thing is, if people really want to, it takes only like 3 days to get through the whole process. So just so you know, signing up, becoming a serving team member, like you really can get to the place where you would be technically allowed to shadow, within about 3 days. So it's not impossible, but they have to be diligent. So. Okay, so the question was, why do we have to have 2 background checked adults, and why does the parent have to have the guardian tag? So the why do we have to have 2 background checked adults? It's one way for us to ensure that there's never just one adult alone with a child. We want to do everything we can. We can't prevent every bad thing from happening. We can't, we know that. But we do want to put every barrier in place we can to make sure that it would be hard for that to happen in one of our classrooms. And so we always want to make sure that kids are never alone with an adult because we love you guys. We also don't know what's in all of your backgrounds and histories, right? And we can't know everything that's in everyone's background and history when they sign up to serve with kids. And so we just put as many little things in place that are there to protect kids as possible. So it's primarily to protect against abuse of any kind, but it's also there just to make sure that you're not the only adult in the classroom responsible for like 15 kids. So that's that. As far as the parent tag goes, that's our way really of ensuring that someone who is not supposed to pick up the kids, say someone who would have bad intent or a non-custodial parent who's going through different custody issues, like if there's things like that. So that's why the tag. So we can also make a note in KidCheck that says if there are specific people who are not supposed to pick up kids. So that's something that we can put on there too. Any other questions? So if she's not on the list, but she's got the tag, that's a great question because a lot of times our families do this. So generally what I will do is text the parent, say, is this person really allowed to pick up the child? But also then just encourage them to make sure that everyone who could pick up a kid is on the list. Also, if you get the app on your phone, the KidCheck app, parents can actually open that app and they can choose to text the receipt to someone else to pick up their kid. And so in that case, you would know the only way someone else is going to have that child's claim number on their phone is if it was texted to them by the parent. So just match the numbers. That's the easiest, that's the simplest way. But yeah. As far as the married couples, that's just because you cannot be compelled to testify against each other in court. So that's why we have to schedule another background checked adult or put you in different classes. Anything else? Yes. Yep. No, that's a great question. So the question was kind of like, if you are serving and you have kids of your own who are being put into kids ministry, and then you want to actually go to church, which we highly encourage. If you're serving 1 hour, please go to church the next hour. Kind of like when we started out here with just some soul care. You guys need to be taking care of your own hearts and souls and spending that time worshiping with the family. So take care of yourself spiritually. It's complicated when you have kids that you're considering as well. So I know for Joe and I specifically, some of our kids are just fine going another hour to kids ministry. Sometimes they're not. And in those cases, sometimes they'll come to church with us and just sit and have a coloring page and do that. But you don't need to be worried about them taking a spot from someone else. Just, yep, if they are content to be there for a second hour, and repetition is great for all of us, please don't feel guilty about that. Yeah. Anything else? Okay, I think we're ready for Miss Tanya.